Okay, so after Beowulf starts circulating a little bit, then there comes this interesting cliche, or this mashup. You have Beowulf as a warrior that even though he fights like a Viking, he rules like a Christian. All right, so look at the back of the page where it goes to the mead hall. Mead is actually, for those of you who know anything about alcohol, it is the oldest alcohol in our civilization, our history. You have, if you've ever heard of vodka, vodka comes from fermented potatoes. Okay, whiskey is fermented rye. Well, mead is fermented honey, and it is. I don't particularly care for it, but that's just me. But mead halls, oh, and not beer. This mead is actually older than beer. So when we say mead halls, think of almost like a modern day pub or a modern day bar, but the walls were made of clay, like the ground was mud. There would be a few long tables, maybe like a big fire in the hearth, okay? And there would be women walking around with pitchers of mead, just pouring them into everyone's cup. There would be singing, there would be maybe some dancing, and it's where everyone would go after work. It's where everyone would go to socialize. So if you wanted company of your people, everyone met in the mead hall, and that is where they would listen to Beowulf. Okay, then you have the language. You have Old English. Okay, so Beowulf's original text was Old English, and that is what the Anglo-Saxons spoke. That was their language. Okay, and these, I mean, think about it. It's Germanic. You have French, you have Spanish, you have Italian. All of those come from Latin, okay, the Romance languages. English is not a Romance language, okay? English is a Germanic language, and it is because the Anglo-Saxons took over Britain. Eventually, people in Britain picked up English, okay? Settlers came to the New World, English, and then we all came about, and we speak English, okay? So Germanic, don't think of Germanic like Germany. It eventually becomes, but many, many years away. But for the time, Germanic is actually a bunch of different groups all put together. You have the Dutch, you have the Frisians, you have Germans, you have the Scandinavians. Okay, and they migrated from Northern Europe to England, and they introduced Germanic culture to the island of Britain. Okay, and the Anglo-Saxon language it's hard. Even scholars, that there are people who so much smarter than you and me who look at this and study it, and they find the language so difficult. So you have hua, okay? And even experts in the Anglo-Saxon culture, they can't agree on what this word means. They think there's like three possibilities. They think it can mean what, it can mean so, or it can mean how. All right, so and we're reading a translated version of Beowulf because I don't think anyone would appreciate trying to read a poem in a language that not even the teacher can understand. Okay, and that is the historical background. Okay, the Beowulf, the world that existed from which Beowulf originated.